So one of the most commonly asked questions is, how did I become an oracle? And the easiest answer I could give you is, I was born an oracle. The complex answer is going to be too long for me to do in one setting. So I'm going to start trying to explain to you guys how it is that I became to be a person who makes a living off of sharing shit that I can see, right? It all started back in not for real. So a few years ago, some years ago, I had gotten into 9 car accidents in 3 months. And at the time, I was a contractor for the National Guard. And one of my coworkers, we had built a relationship off of the goal of liberating Black people. You feel what I'm saying? So we had done a lot of talks. I was in a lot of different organizations at the time, doing a lot of different rallies and speaking engagements. This is around the time when Trayvon Martin died. So we had that rapport already. And when I started getting into these accidents, she told me that I needed to get a reading. And so I was like, I don't know why I would want to do that, you know what I'm saying? But she's like, no, you need to go to this girl. The girl will be able to help you. So I'm like, well, will she tell me how to not get in a car accidents? Because these car accidents, they really weren't my fault. I know people will be like, oh, it wasn't my fault. But y'all, people were hitting my car like I didn't exist. Like you couldn't see me on the road. And people would say, oh, I didn't see you. Like, bitch, I'm in a big ass car. Like, I don't know how you can't see me. But these people would say that, right? So I'm like, is she going to be able to tell me how to not get in a car accident? So I go to the girl and she's like, I have messages for you. And I'm like, this shit is weird as fuck. Okay, that's cute. You got messages for me. Or any of those messages finna tell me how to not get in a car accident? And no, those weren't the messages. The messages were that the Orishas had showed up and they were trying to get my attention and have been trying to get my attention for a long time. But I wasn't listening. I wasn't paying attention. And they're doing these things to get my attention. I'm like, okay, cool. So how do I not get in a car accidents again? And she's like, you need to study. You need to study the Orishas. And I said, that's fine, but how, when I get into my vehicle, how do I make it so people can see me? At the time, I didn't understand the spiritual shit in terms of what I'm living. Okay, that's fine, I can study, but I want people to stop hitting my vehicle, right? And so she's like, gives me this ritual to do. She tells me to wipe my car down with me and all this other stuff. So I do the ritual for the car and I start studying. Because at the time, I'm studying like crazy anyway. So it was right up my alley. I was spending hours and hours studying a lot of metaphysics underneath some great master teachers. And so I just switched my area of study and I started getting into the Orishas and Ifa. And the next day, literally that next day, I got this book called The Way of the Orisha. And in that book, they talked about a place called Oyotunji. So Oyotunji is a village in South Carolina, and the book says that Oyotunji is the only people in the North Americas who actually practices Ifa the proper way. Well, I wasn't that far, maybe 4 hours from this village, so I put the book away, and I actually went down to the village. And I had spent every weekend going to that village for about 4 or 5 months. And then I moved to the village. So that was interesting. Now, all this time I had done all this research. Part of what was told to me in the reading is that I was supposed to read people also, but I didn't feel comfortable doing that, and I didn't understand what she meant that I was supposed to read people. And so a few months later, after living in the village, I got some stones and I started learning how to read myself through the stones. All of this shit was highly frowned upon by the people in the village because it was not the way of the Orishas. That wasn't that. But I was in my discovery mode. And so I went into discovering that. I was doing ancient Olmec readings, going through tablets, giving people a sense of how to activate different qualities within them that are also outside of them. So how do you, they say we're all the universe, right? How do you activate the different parts of your internal universe to make them work for you? So that's the type of readings and work that I started doing. The other aspect of this is that I was in the military at some point and I got injured. And in my injuries, they tried to put me on a lot of medication because these injuries would leave me with lifelong pain. It was like, there's nothing we could do for you, take the Percocet. And I just wasn't trying to do that. You feel what I'm saying? And I wasn't going to perpetually be in pain. So I went on this journey of how do I heal myself? Because by this point, I'm having spouts where I can't walk, I can't get out the bed. When I couldn't bend over and pick up my daughter. I was having really difficult times doing simple daily tasks like cleaning and sweeping and mopping. Like my back went out on me when I was sweeping at one point. So it was like all these random things that were happening to me physically started really taking a toll. My lighting went out. It's cool, we're gonna keep rocking. Hold on, let me at least try to adjust it so y'all don't gotta deal with that. So yeah, so all of these things were happening that were playing a part in my emotional state, right? Because it's only so much pain that you can be in before it starts to take a toll on you, when you're like, shit, I can't even pick up my baby that's crying, or I have to call and have somebody come over to my house because I can't get out of my bed. Like that shit starts to take a toll on you, and it was taking its toll on me. And so my focus became like, how do I get myself to where, number one, I'm not in this pain-induced anxiety. I'm not going into depression because I can't function in my day-to-day life. There's no solution for me, so it's just hopeless in terms of what my future looks like. Like, I'm not going to live like that. And so I made it a point and a goal for me to be able to learn to heal myself. And so this is bothering me. This damn shadow shit is bothering me. And so that's what I did, you guys. I went on this journey of like healing. I went on this journey of trying to figure out, how do I wake up every day and not be in pain? How do I wake up every day and still feel like who I really am? Yeah, I didn't want to be cloaked in my experiences. I didn't want my experiences to define how my life would go. I said, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take my power back. And so meditation, I started getting into that. Breathing techniques really started helping me. I got into like sound therapy. I started getting into like binaural beats, solfeggio frequencies, and all of these things I began to explore. I just kept exploring them, and I began to use these techniques to help myself. So you have the one side where I'm discovering my gift as an oracle, and it's a journey for me to have gotten there. I went from doing the stones to doing the Olmec readings to actually doing tarot cards to solely using my intuition to read people, help them find their purpose in life and all of that. Then you have the other side where I've needed a lot of tools and skills that I teach people and how to get like better within their being every single day. And so I've coupled those things together, those aspects of my journey, and I service you guys by sharing different aspects of those two different components in a way that's going to help you. And so I use my gift to give you guys insight on what you should be doing, where you should be headed, and then I use my experience to show you guys actually like how to execute. And throughout these years, I've gained a lot more experience. This work has allowed me to be a successful entrepreneur. I've been living my dreams, you guys. I have the ability to live anywhere I want to. I can go and come whenever I feel like it. Like, I can do anything I want to do. I have like an overall sense of freedom, and I've been able to instill that freedom into my daughter. So when we're talking about liberating people and really being free and living in a heaven on earth, what does that look like and how do you get there? And that's what I help people create, their own personal heaven on earth. Like that comfortability level, waking up every day feeling great about everything that's going on around you, is how you're able to create more things that you're going to appreciate. This is where we get into like you being able to rapidly manifest things because you're always in a higher frequency. So that's a little rundown. I know I said I was going to keep it short. We're under 10 minutes. The lighting and shit went out, but we did not stop. I got the point across. The point is, I've done a lot of things to get to the point that I am now, and I appreciate all of you guys who allow me to use my work, my skills, and my gift to be able to help you, guide you along your path. Sorry for the lighting and shit. Thank you guys for listening. If you ever want to book me, go to my website, oracleoya.com. Follow me on Instagram at oracleoya. Peace out.